Good morning, dear students of class 12. Welcome to the English online learning class. Today we are going to take up chapter 5 from your main reader Flamingo, and the lesson is Indigo. Now we have already done one video based on the overview of this lesson. It was posted a few days back. Now today we are going to take up the text part of the lesson. Now let us know a little bit about the author of this lesson, Louis Fisher. 1896 to 1970, he was born in Philadelphia and he served as a volunteer in the British Army between 1918 and 1920. Fisher made a career as a journalist and wrote for the New York Times, the Saturday Review, and for European and Asian publications. So, the writer has also, besides serving in the army, was also a journalist. He was also a member of the faculty at Princeton University. The following is an excerpt from his book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. The book has been reviewed as one of the best books ever written on Gandhiji by Times Educational Supplement. So this lesson that you are going to read, it is an excerpt from his famous book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. And this book has been judged, reviewed as one of the best books ever written on Gandhiji by Times Educational Supplement. So let us read this lesson. When I first visited Gandhiji in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram in central India, he said, I'll tell you how it happened that I decided to urge the departure of the British. It was in 1970. So Gandhiji is talking to Louis Fisher. When Louis Fisher had visited Gandhiji in 1952 at his ashram in Sevagram in central India. Now, there he said to Louis Fisher, Gandhiji said to Louis Fisher, I'm going to tell you what made me decide that now I should urge the departure of the British from India. And this was in the year 1970. He had gone to the December 1916 annual convention of the Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow. So Gandhiji was attending an annual convention of the Indian Congress Party in December 1916. There were 2,301 delegates and many visitors. The Indian National Congress Party annual convention in Lucknow was attended by 2,301 delegates and many visitors. During the proceedings, Gandhiji recounted, a peasant came up to me looking like any other peasant in India, poor and emaciated, and said, I am Rajkumar Shukla. I am from Champaran and I want you to come to my district. So Gandhiji remembered that a peasant, a poor peasant, a farmer, he was representative of any other peasant in India. Why? Because he was poor, he was very weak, and he said that he was Rajkumar Shukla. He introduced himself as Rajkumar Shukla. And he said he has come from Champaran and he wanted Gandhiji to come with him to his district. Gandhiji had never heard of the place. He had never heard of Champaran earlier. And it was in the foothills of the towering Himalayas near the kingdom of Nepal. This was the location of Champaran. Under an ancient arrangement, the Champaran peasants were sharecroppers. So this was an arrangement since many years, and Champaran peasants, farmers, they were sharecroppers. Rajkumar Shukla was one of them, and Rajkumar Shukla was also one of the sharecroppers. He was illiterate but resolute. He was uneducated, but he was very firm and determined, resolute. He had come to the Congress session to complain about the injustice of the landlord system in Bihar. Probably this was the reason why he had come to Gandhiji, and he had come to the annual convention of the Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow. He wanted to complain about the injustice, the exploitation of the landlords in Bihar. And somebody had probably said, speak to Gandhiji. And probably somebody had guided him that you must tell Gandhiji and ask him to come with you to Champaran to solve the problems of the peasants of Champaran who were sharecroppers and they were being exploited by the British landlords. Gandhiji told Shukla he had an appointment in Kanpur and was also committed to go to other parts of India. So Gandhiji told Shukla, Rajkumar Shukla, that he had prior engagements, prior appointments beforehand, they were fixed. And he was supposed to go to Kanpur, and then he had other commitments to go to other parts of India. But Rajkumar Shukla followed Gandhiji, accompanied Gandhiji everywhere. Then Gandhiji returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. He returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. And Shukla followed him to his ashram. And for weeks, he never left Gandhiji's side. That is an example of his resoluteness. He was determined to take Gandhiji with him. Fix a date, he begged. He literally begged to Gandhiji to fix a date, to come with him to Champaran. Impressed by sharecroppers' tenacity and story, Gandhiji was very much impressed by the sharecroppers' firm determination, tenacity, and his story. The way he wanted Gandhiji to come with him to Champaran to solve the problems of the sharecroppers of Champaran, who were being exploited by the British landlords. I have to be in Calcutta on such and such date. Come and meet me and take me from there. Gandhiji told that he is supposed to reach Calcutta on such and such date. You can come to me there and take me from there. So he asked Rajkumar Shukla to see him on this date, on a particular date in Calcutta. And from there he would be going to Champaran with him. Months passed. Shukla was sitting on his haunches at the appointed spot in Calcutta when Gandhiji arrived. So Shukla was waiting there at the appointed fixed spot, waiting to take Gandhiji with him. And he waited till Gandhiji was. Gandhiji was busy with important work, but he kept on waiting with lot of patience. Then the two of them boarded a train for the city of Patna. Then the two, Rajkumar Shukla and Gandhiji, they proceeded for the city of Patna in Bihar by train. There Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad. who later became president of the Congress Party and India. So the first halt was the house of Rajendra Prasad, who was a lawyer then, but later on he became the president of the Congress Party and then the president of India. Rajendra Prasad was out of town. At that time, Rajendra Prasad was not in the house. He was out of town because of some work. But the servants knew Shukla as a poor human who pestered their master to help the Indigo sharecroppers. But the servants, they were knowing Rajkumar Shukla, as he often used to come as a sort of champion for the peasants of Champaran, and he used to pester their master, almost means he used to be always bothering their master, Rajendra Prasad, to help the Indigo sharecroppers. Probably he used to bring cases which the Indian peasants, the peasants of Champaran, they had put up against the British landlords, against the atrocities of the British landlords, as Rajendra Prasad was a lawyer, to seek his legal advice. So they let him stay on the grounds with his companion. So they allowed Rajkumar Shukla to stay with his companion on the ground. They did not permit him inside the house. Gandhiji, whom they took to be another peasant, they thought that Gandhiji was another peasant from Champaran. But Gandhiji was not permitted to draw water from the well, lest some drops from his bucket pollute the entire source. But on condition, the condition was that Gandhiji would not draw water from the well, because some drops from his bucket was going to pollute the entire source, the entire well. And why did they do this? Because they thought that Gandhiji was an untouchable. So this evil was prevailing. Evil of untouchability was prevailing in the society at that time, and which was a curse which Gandhiji fought for. Gandhiji decided to go first to Muzaffarpur. From Patna, he decided that he would head for Muzaffarpur, which was en route to Champaran, which was on way to Champaran. To obtain more complete information about conditions than Shukla was capable of. Now just see Gandhiji's strategy. He, instead of proceeding directly to Champaran, he decided to stop at different places. First Patna and then Muzaffarpur. Why? Because he wanted to seek complete information about the conditions. Even when Rajkumar Shukla had already provided him, but he wanted to have complete information about the condition of the peasants of Champaran. He accordingly sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur, whom he had seen at Tagore Shantiniketan School. So he informed J.B. Kriplani of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur, whom he had already known at Tagore Shantiniketan School. So he informed J.B. Kriplani so that he would meet him in Muzaffarpur and he would provide him information, and at the same time he was gathering support of the people to fight for the cause of the peasants of Champaran. That was Gandhiji's work style. We'll stop here. We'll continue with the remaining next time. Thank you.